Hey guys, today with the topic of long-distance relationships. First of all and what general about it and then of course also related to X-back. So what do I count as a long-distance relationship? A long-distance relationship is a relationship in which you can not just say spontaneously that you can see each other and in which you could not return home at any time. So you both don't have a car and live 30 kilometers away? Long-distance relationship. Do you have one and have to drive longer than maybe an hour in every situation? Long-distance relationship. And of course, it's more the extreme cases that jump out at you, who can generally only see each other on weekends or are perhaps even separated by country borders. Why do I not distinguish here particularly and say in each case to all these things long-distance relationship? Because the bond can't build up very quickly and well and you're almost permanently dependent on crap like WhatsApp or Skype. Of course you weigh yourself very quickly in security, if each meeting is then super nice and easy to the point. Because you have no more time together and so you estimate these moments as more than they really are. You are different to each other than you would be in everyday life and temporarily try to show your best side again and again. This can prolong the phase of limerence, but also quickly reduce the attraction to each other during times when you can't see each other regularly. In any case, after the end of such a relationship, the impact on the ex-partner's life tends to be overestimated rather than underestimated. You get lost in thoughts like, how could it have been if we hadn't just had a long-distance relationship and yet everything was always perfect when we were together? Yes, when you were together, and that was a fraction of the time you were officially together. You only knew the person at their best, whether you wrote a lot or talked on the phone. That is far from the same as having them around permanently. Because the bond can't work. The attraction theoretically does, which, since we're not always tangible to each other, very quickly ensures that we see something really special in our counterpart and can't easily get away from it. But the bond that would be important for a long-term relationship can be strengthened and developed through shared memories, rituals and beautiful moments that we always want to remember back. This is not present when you see in your counterpart a date or a kind of short vacation from your own everyday life. Of course one creates beautiful moments, if one is then times there. But the possibility would exist that one has this permanently and there are different reasons for a long-distance relationship. One of them can be that the other person doesn't want more time with you at all. I've brought it up a few times. I've seen women who were head over heels in love for a few hours of time together go from Croatia and back there on vacation. I have seen some who moved away from their safe environment for just this time together to have it all the time. If the love and attraction were really that great, it wouldn't be a problem in most cases, especially what else she should hold there. There are of course exceptions who see no possibility of that, and I'm not attacking those at all. What I want to say is always, do you want the long-distance relationship to be like this forever, or is it foreseeable that it will change? Because if you have the outlook of spending time together and more attachment that lives up to the attraction, then you're not permanently living in that vacation mode when you're away together. A friend once paraphrased it as a bubble in special circumstances, and the comparison is apartment. During the time you are together, everything is perfect. If not, I would be really worried if I were you. The moment you have to separate from each other and go about your daily life alone again is the reality, and if you should separate one day, then this soap bubble simply bursts and everything that was in it, except for the little bond that you were able to build together, simply fizzles out. Now I keep putting out the importance of attachment when it comes to no contact. Because what is your ex making you miss the most? Or to put it another way, what does she know that she misses you? Moments when the bond in her becomes active, old memories come back to her, or she associates certain actions, words, songs, smells or whatever with you, and her heart jumps to 180. That's when attraction and feelings can be gone. That's how we function. That gets locked away with hurdles the moment they break up, and they can take that for quite a while. But when they have self-doubt and you have left them alone, their defense against the hurdles is not so strong anymore, and certain things come up in them again. Attraction itself doesn't form again until they don't know if they could have you back, and they have a glimpse of you. When they see that you are no longer the one they parted with. But without enough attachment, they have no reason to even look back. Usually I say between half a year and a year the relationship should have gone, so that there are enough moments in the box to work with. Of course, it varies from person to person, but I include that you have spent a lot of time together. You've made the most of the limerence phase and built up as much closeness and beautiful moments as possible in it. If this is not the case, because you saw each other every other weekend, then I'm sorry to tell you that your bubble might have burst. Again, of course, the best thing to do is to leave it alone. Again, it increases your chances to the maximum that she may eventually come back to check on you. But long-distance relationships, without the need or proof that you want to move closer together in the foreseeable future, I think are really dangerous for your emotional health. And I'm intentionally not saying that this has to be about moving in together. Because even if the thought is still so nice, you might not know the person well enough in everyday life yet, but only their great sides. I am not an advocate of the theory that you should only move in with a woman if the wedding and child planning are only half a year in the future. I think it's just as nice to give someone who has proven herself to me the opportunity to always be with me and enter my frame. But a long-distance relationship proves itself under different conditions than those that would be necessary to think about moving in together. And now make this clear to a woman who wants to move in your direction for you. That you want to have her there, but you want to live alone for the time being. That costs need attraction if you do not justify it properly. But in addition times and other video about separate and common households. I say this only to show you which difficulties you have in the future with a woman with whom you enter a long-distance relationship and who would not leave everything for you after a short time. Keyword interest. This should be felt higher than that of a woman from your own circle, because this long-distance relationship will demand a lot from both of you and you will not do either of you any favors if you torment yourselves in the long term. During the time you are in love, it is always great and nothing could be better. If there are then the first problems, up to the separation, then you realize of course too late, what you have let yourself in for. This is not meant to be a gripe in general about long-distance relationships, but maybe a little food for thought about what you can pay attention to, what you can do better and what you can expect from it. And if you got separated from it, don't rate yourself on a par with people who were able to see their partner permanently and took the chance. All your will to do so within the relationship is worth nothing after the breakup. There are only the hard facts how often it was really the case and their attraction, which is no longer high enough to continue to pull this through. These are of course in stark contrast to you, who is still sitting there with feelings and thinking about how nice the time together always was, that actually makes it all the worse. But unfortunately that doesn't change the facts for them at that moment. Only feelings can do that again and you won't be able to actively trigger them in her now. It comes only in OCH more desperately, if you go to her, since you invest so much there purely and she can see that openly. So like everyone else, go into no contact and watch yourselves while she sees if the bond is enough or just not. The sooner you respond to her in an adult way, the better your chances. However, they will never be better than in a real relationship with the same amount of time. Take care and until the next video.